Interesting, interesting. Jordan B. Peterson, fascinating character. Um, so I let's kind of, I guess, take a step back and then talk about sort of language and concepts. So we come at everything through the way it's almost been kind of relayed to us, right? We sort of pick up words and we try to use those words in certain situations, and they either work or they don't, and then we learn from that how to use the words. Those words map onto different sort of kind of larger conceptual frameworks like the family or society or whatever it is. So I guess it'd be good to try and understand how both language and concepts play a role in shaping our understanding of reality, and if they can actually hinder our ability to acquire knowledge, or if they help it more than hinder it. I don't know whether it's possible to kind of differentiate between the two of those, but language and concepts
No.
definitely play a role in some way for this.
Yeah, yeah. Well, um, so clearly the language that you speak and your conceptual scheme influence your knowledge and the way that you think about the world. Um, I rather suspect that this has been exaggerated, by anthropologists. Right? So, um, okay, so like you sometimes hear, oh, the Eskimos have whatever 50 words for snow, or some like really large number of words for snow, and like, isn't that amazing? Uh, no, that's not really amazing. Like, yeah, well, if you see something around a lot, then you're going to distinguish different kinds of it. But we do that too. But that's not like a that doesn't mean that they have a really different way of perceiving the world. Like, I bet an Eskimo could explain to you what the different kinds of snow are, and I bet skiers have more words for snow than non-skiers, right? So, like, yeah, there's an influence, but it's not like that deep, right? Or like I've heard suggestions like, oh, when the Native Americans first saw the colonists from Europe arriving in their ships, they didn't notice them until they got on land because they weren't expecting that. That sounds like a load of BS, right? Like, okay, yeah, like your expectations affect reality, but not that much, right? It's only a little bit, right? So, okay, but mainly your language and your conceptual scheme, mainly they help you to understand real things. Because, like, we didn't evolve a bunch of tendencies. And, obviously, like, language use is an evolved tendency, right? The reason why we can learn language is there's an actual thing in your brain. There's an actual part of the brain that evolves specifically to enable you to learn languages, right? And it's not just general intelligence, because, like, the way that we learn language is phenomenally better than our learning of other intellectual things. Okay, so anyway, so we evolved this tendency to learn languages. We didn't do that because it was useless. Like, we didn't evolve to learn to understand language because it hurts your understanding of the world. No, it helps your understanding of the world. And how does it do that? Well, because other people have noticed things. They've noticed genuine differences and similarities in the world, and they gave them names. And then you become aware of them when you're trying to understand how these words work. Like, you hear a word that people are using, and then you try to understand why they're using it, or in what circumstance they're using it, and that makes you form the concept. And that's useful because almost all concepts correspond to something in reality, and usually it's something important. Like, something that's important enough to have a name is like probably something that you should know about, right? There's like infinitely many things in reality, right? So you gotta learn to distinguish, the important from the unimportant categories, right? There's infinitely many of them, and actually acquiring a language is a pretty good way of doing that, of like, making the useful distinctions and not the useless ones.
It's really interesting. So let's use an example of sort of, I guess, fundamental Christianity then. So somebody's raised in a sort of fundamental Christian framework. They begin to break free of that through whatever reason, and they are then trying to kind of, I guess, gain knowledge of the world outside of this sort of framework, or sort of, yeah, the sort of conceptual framework that they've been given. Um, I've got a lot of friends who are in that position who almost struggle to actually break the shackles off of those conceptual frameworks to be able to begin to retain things that are in opposition to what they once believed. I know that sounds weird, but actually I feel that there can be almost like a sedentary brain sort of flipping switch which stops people from being able to actually begin to grapple with and push towards truth within areas that they didn't think there was once truth. Do you have any sort of thoughts or kind of ideas around concepts actually hindering the advancement of knowledge?
Yeah. I mean, yes. Well, so we were mentioning earlier that there are certain beliefs that they sort of like hinder your cognitive progress because they're designed to stop you from questioning your other beliefs and themselves. So, like the belief that faith is a virtue, designed to stop you from asking for evidence for things, and actually just like to to shut down objections. I think of skeptical theism this way, where like you tell people about the problem of evil, and they go, "Yeah, there's just like no way of predicting what the world would look like if there was a God. We have no idea like which evils he would allow and which ones he wouldn't. So we can't predict anything, so we can't infer anything from our observations of the world." Okay, um, yeah, and then okay, but those aren't exactly concepts; those are propositions. So it's sort of like an assertion that could be true or false. So I'm trying to think of examples of actually a concept. I don't know. I think maybe so. There's George Orwell's concept of thought crime. Now, so if there's somebody who's using thought crime sort of unironically, like they're actually thinking of certain ideas as thought crimes, not like criticizing censorship or whatever. Like they're actually on board with censorship because they think some thoughts are crimes. Okay, so then yeah, that's a concept that hinders your acquisition of knowledge. Like hate speech is very close to that. I think that might be an anti-concept, as Ayn Rand says, right? An anti-concept is something that hinders your ability to integrate things in reality that belong together.
If you enjoyed this clip, then head on over to Locals to access the full conversation right now. Supporters can access the video version, and everyone can access the audio-only version of the conversation. I'll see you over there.